Barbara, thank you so much for being with us. We just had a fun conversation with Sean, which I'm sure sounds a lot like a Democratic House caucus meeting. You know, concerns from different elements of the party. How do Democrats make sure that 2022 is it's a more effective campaign in pushing back against some of the Republicans' most toxic lies? What are your thoughts?
Sure, Doug. Good morning. Glad to be with you. Well, first of all, let me just acknowledge the fact that we had so many young people who have been involved in so many of our protests through the movement for Black Lives, with our Dreamers. This was a multiracial, multi-generational coalition that turned out last November and elected Joe Biden as our president. And so I think we have to continue to move forward and make sure that our agenda continues to be evident, that we have to continue to message the fact that we're working for the people, we're delivering for the people, and we understand that racial equity and racial justice has got to be a whole of government approach where we keep the promises that we made in terms of addressing structural racism and providing for equity in each and every policy that not only the Congress should move forward on, but the White House embracing and leading on.
You know, Barbara, we've all heard an awful lot about H.R. 1. I'm curious what your thoughts are about H.R. 4, John Lewis's bill, voting rights bill. I'm wondering whether that may, especially since the Supreme Court has been asking Congress to move forward with an update on the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act. I'm wondering if H.R. 4 might be a better way to lead with Congressman Lewis's bill first.
Well, we have passed H.R. 1, which is a very important bill to restore integrity to our elections. It addresses public financing of campaigns. It addresses voting rights. And we're working now to make sure that we pass H.R. 4. And I'm confident that we're going to do that because we have got to have federal protections as it relates to our voting rights. We see these over 350 bills now that have been passed throughout the country to effectively denied African Americans, people of color, senior citizens, our young people, people in rural communities, the right to vote. So we have got to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, H.R. 4, and we're working to make sure that we get that passed and passed as quickly as possible.
Congresswoman, what are your thoughts about America leaving Afghanistan 20 years after 9/11?
Well, Joe, I tell you, I'm just very optimistic and very pleased that the Biden administration and our President Joe Biden has really indicated that we're going to begin to bring our troops home. You know, I did not vote for the authorization to use force right after the horrific events of 9/11 because I knew then it was a blank check to really justify military actions anywhere in the world. Having said that, our troops have done exactly what we have asked them to do in Afghanistan. We need to begin to bring them home as the president is going to do and employ and execute on our other tools in our toolboxes as relates to diplomacy and development, making sure that we protect women and make sure that women's rights are part of the movement forward in terms of Afghanistan, and do everything we can do on the diplomatic and development front and humanitarian assistance. But it's way past time to bring our troops home. We have trained hundreds of thousands of security forces in Afghanistan, and we owe them a lot, and we're going to continue to move forward and use our diplomatic tools and our diplomacy efforts to make sure that we bring our troops home orderly and that we do everything we can do to help with Afghanistan move forward peacefully.
Congresswoman, it's Kasie Hunt. I'd like to bring the conversation back here because today marks 100 days since the siege of the U.S. Capitol. And quite frankly, in the last 100 days, the commission that had been planned to investigate what happened has been stalled. We haven't even seen the bill that's been worked on to pay for more security, more police officers, a hardening of the Capitol. There is so much partisan argument going on about how to move forward from this. So can I just ask you, is this where you expect it to be 100 days after that building was invaded? And how are we going to make sure that this is actually accounted for in our history books?
Sure. On January 6th, let me tell you, I was on the floor. It was a harrowing experience. I was sitting right there, had to evacuate, and you know the stories of what took place that day. This was an attempted coup. It was an insurrection, and it was in many ways a conspiracy by white supremacists. And in fact, domestic terrorism has been one of the biggest threats to our country. And so we've been trying to work with the Republicans to move us forward. And I tell you, we have to have this outside commission to conduct an investigation. But we are moving forward in terms of bringing forth measures to secure the Capitol in a way where it's balanced in terms of public access and public safety. I mean, we have staff members, we have support staff, the Capitol Police. They did a phenomenal job. Oftentimes during the attempted coup, especially many of the African-American Capitol Police have had to fight just for their lives and beat back all of the horrible things that were taking place with them and all of our Capitol Police officers. So it's a very complex issue, but we have got to do this, and we've got to do it quickly. And I hope the Republicans will cooperate with our Speaker and make this a bipartisan effort, because we are doing everything we can do. We cannot let this happen again. This was an attack on our democracy. It was an attack on the Capitol, and people died as a result. And I'm very proud to be a plaintiff in the lawsuit against Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, the Proud Boys, and the other insurrectionists who really promoted the insurrection.
All right. Well, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, thank you so much. And Barbara, it's always great seeing you and talking to you. Hope to see you in Washington very soon.
Hope to see you, and thank you again for having me here, and have a good day.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.